up, ladies and gents? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcast, RAF ESPARZA, coming to you with another great installment of the Bullpen. Are you sick of me yet? I was literally just on for running the gauntlet. Hey, we had to switch things around. Sometimes the schedule gets a little bit switched. And oh my goodness, listen, I don't know how they break this up on the Instagram, but my face was giant on there. Like, oh my goodness. And it says, Raf, you don't even treat me the same anymore. Raf, you used to love me. Of course I love you, Jiu-Jitsu memes. And it says, literally the biggest supporter of the podcast name, someone who listens more. And it says, I want to test Mikey's striking skills. Oh my goodness. Another live. What did we do to do this? Oh, you didn't do much to deserve it, but I can tell you, you deserve it because we love you guys. We have another show coming on, the Bullpen. You guys know how this one works. We're going to have a board here in a second, but let's go ahead and talk to our good friend, I'm going to Tim, and I do see it here.
Hey, yo.
How you doing, Tim?
What's going on, Raf? I am glad to be back. I made it safely home from Stockton, California in one piece. Super excited to be on the Bullpen. I'm ready. Put me in, coach. Let's go. We got drama, mama.
Ooh, I'm glad you're bringing it up. But I do have to ask this. Unfortunately, no Jake today. We wish him well. I hope all is going well on his side. But I do want to say this, Tim. Was there ever a risk that something could have happened to you from Stockton? Were you nervous about that? Is it just dangerous? Like, what's happening here?
Hey, man, I'm not kidding. This last time when I went back, I texted Big MF, my cousin, my famed co-host from Inside BJJ, and said, I feel unsafe in this city now. I think I have become soft. I think the South has really slowed me down, and I'm becoming a Southern gentleman.
Oh,
just really slowing down, man. Yeah, so
it's nice, about time because I've always thought to myself, I'm like, Tim's definitely a Southern gent, but I didn't know that you were also becoming somebody who's clutching the pearls a lot. I was like, oh, I am unsafe here, sir. I do declare I need some security here.
Have one of your strong men come and escort me. Yeah, I'm serious, dude. I hung out with my students pretty much 80% of the time because I felt like I needed some protection, man.
Well, I'm glad that you made it home in one piece. And I have some news for you. You're right. We did have some incredible things happen over the weekend. A lot of stuff happened. And I did get a note here. And it says that you look like a more handsome Steve Carell by Jiu-Jitsu memes.
Oh, hey, thanks. I guess I'll take that. I'll take it. Let's go.
Like, bro, he's movie star. So you're getting movie star looks here right now, bro.
Wow. Yeah, Steve Carell's not exactly. This guy was like the 40-year-old virgin.
Hold on.
You look like the 39-year-old virgin. Oh, gee, thanks, man. Wow, what a compliment.
So hold on. I think there's a different way to say this. Which Steve Carell are we talking here? Are we talking like 40-year-old virgin Steve Carell, like just starting to get his hair plugs in? Or are we talking end of the movie Crazy Stupid Love Steve Carell, where you're like, yo, that dude looks like money? So I'm just saying, you got movie star looks here today, sir. And Wallow J says, must be Wednesday. Hell yeah, let's go. Well, that is definitely a great way to put it. And I know we alluded to this, but we do have big news. So let's go straight to the board right now. And you know what? That's getting there a little bit too early. We're not even there. We got to build to that. Let's go ahead and go to our very first topic here. And this one is interesting because check this out, guys. This past weekend, we here at Jiu-Jitsu had a big moment. We had KADE Ruotolo getting a big win in his MMA debut. And I'd love to go ahead and turn it on over to you, sir, to go ahead and walk us through what happened in that world this weekend.
Man, I feel like one consistently puts on these great events. I'm talking about one fighting championship. And this weekend, they had KADE Ruotolo make his MMA debut. And I knew it was coming up, but it almost snuck up on me. It almost got to where I was like, what the heck? Oh, that's happening like right now? Oh, snap. Yeah, that's how one always is. I get an alert on Amazon Prime like when 5 minutes before it's going to launch. But I swear. But KADE looked great, man. He got a rear naked choke against a pretty good striker. I'm trying to remember what the dude's name was. I think his last name was Cooper. I think it was Blake Cooper, perhaps.
He beat up Bradley Cooper. That was the big reveal.
Yeah, that's what a slightly less handsome Bradley Cooper he beat up. So he looked good, man. He got a submission on him in the first round. Not a surprise that he finished with a submission, and he looked good. And the thing that was really interesting is after the fight, he basically said, "I can't wait to get back in here and do this again." I think he's getting obsessed with MMA, probably in the way that he's been obsessed with jiu-jitsu. And I think these Ruotolo brothers, we haven't seen half of what they're going to do yet. I think these guys are going to be big major superstars. So I'm pretty stoked for his debut, and it feels like that's a win for the good guy. That's a guy that we can get behind.
Like, we needed that, because we'll get into why it was so necessary here. I'm pretty sure if you know where we're going on the next part. But for KADE, him and his brother are so likable. There's so much great investment in the jiu-jitsu community in their future. Like, a lot of us are pulling for them in a big way. And I have to say, one thing that's really refreshing to me is when I do see them up there, you definitely get this sense of when they ask them, like, how are you feeling right now? And they're like, oh man, this is so cool. Like, I just love jiu-jitsu. And I'm like, I'm enjoying what was happening right now in this MMA world. And like, yeah, man, I just want to run it. It's crazy. And you go, yeah, this dude wants to knock out people real bad. Like, he is in his space. And he was weird. I noticed something when I was looking through the headlines for Grappling this past week. Yeah. And he was saying in headlines, people haven't seen his level of jiu-jitsu in MMA. And that's a very bold statement. But at the same point, I don't know that it's untrue, because you've seen a lot of people in jiu-jitsu transition into MMA, but these were babies who have been in this game, the youngest veterans, for a long time. And now they've matured in such a crazy way where it's like, yeah, they have this Tasmanian devil energy, but they also have incredible techniques. So when you put those things together, maybe that's not just a slogan that they're using to get more people excited or say things. It might have a very strong level of accuracy.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right about that. I think the closest person that we've seen recently is probably Gary Tonin, but even to that, like, I've been watching the Ruotolo brothers. They were like 1 year old. They were 1 year olds, 1 year old or something like I think KADE was 1 when I started jiu-jitsu. Right? That's how young these guys are. They've been doing jiu-jitsu that long. So it's not a one-to-one comparison. And their style so dynamic. I just wonder what they're going to bring to MMA that's different. Because right now their jiu-jitsu game, you can't game plan for them. You can't find partners that can emulate their style. They're very unique. And I wonder if they'll kind of bring some of that to mixed martial arts. I'm really excited about watching his future.
I mean, him, and you get the sense that Ty's probably right behind him. And it was just announced that, yes, he's going to pick up with a super fight with Mikey. We'll get to that in a second. But that also, Ty Ruotolo is going to have a match. And I forget who he's got a match with. Is it Joseph Chen? Is that who they just signed right now?
I think it's Joseph Chen, and I think you're right. I did see something about that.
But it is an incredible time for them. Like, if you look at those two big notes, like Mikey, who's arguably one of their biggest stars in ONE FC, that's a big match. Great. But then if you look at the fact that, yes, the next match is Joseph Chen, who's this young phenom, like, that's where you want to see these compelling natures. And this is what we've been begging ONE FC to give us. And it looks like they're starting to make good on those promises now. And I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a lot of fun to watch, especially if you're a grappling fan.
Absolutely. So there is that on that side, but that does bring us to our next topic, which, listen, this is an intense situation that we got ourselves into here. Listen, I think a lot of us are fans of Mikey Musumeci. However, I don't know that he went heel. I don't know what was happening in his post-fight speech. I do know, like a kid who just learned a swear word for the very first time, he was very eager to let us know he knows the F word. And it was shocking. It was blaring, but he did tell us that part of the reason he was so worked up and emotional about this situation was that, in his opinion, his opponent was talking trash. Now, I don't know any way to fact check that, but to me, I don't know that I saw evidence of that. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. It just meant it came as such a big shock to all of us because it seemed out of the blue. So what was your interpretation of what you saw when Mikey ended up getting the win?
I think you're spot on. It was like, hey, guys, I learned how to cuss. I'm going to start cussing now. It's okay. Mom said we could cuss. Yeah, there was a little bit of that, vibe to it, which was, it was strangely uncomfortable to hear Musumeci cuss. I was like, ooh, not sure if I like that version of Darth Rigatoni, but yeah, I don't know, man. I think he might be the kind of character that has quite a few grievances that he keeps inside, and then when it's go time, it's like, wow, this is a strangely strong reaction to something that didn't seem to be that big of a deal. Even kind of like the corner people and the announcer dude were just kind of like goofing and laughing. Mikey was fucking serious though, like he wasn't playing around, and that's what kind of struck me odd. But man, he made Souza, like, he made quick work of him. Like, it was impressive what he did. It's hard to talk bad about what he did, but at the same time, it's like, man, this guy's got serious beef with people, and he calls people out pretty regularly. If you've noticed, he gets on that mic and he has a rip at it, and it, you know, sometimes it comes back on him and sometimes it doesn't. It'll be interesting to see what comes of this, mainly because he called a bunch of dudes out for steroids, and it's kind of hard for a lot of dudes to come out and go like, I'm not on steroids. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes, to be quite honest with you.
I'm glad that you brought it up, but I think you got it a little bit wrong. He didn't just beat his opponent easily. He beat him fucking easily. Did you not see that? Did you not just see how fucking easily he beat him right there? And I go,
yeah, I did.
Okay, Mikey. Again, we like you. So this is glaring. Is this Hulk Hogan basically coming out with the NWO? Like, we don't know how to process it. And yet at the same point, he might know things that we don't, in terms of, yes, people might have been talking trash. Sometimes there's interpretation. Maybe you're interpreting that. But it was so glaring that I'm just like, hey, man, are you okay? Like, is everything going okay with you, Mikey? Because in our view, to see this trajectory from so happy to be there, happy-go-lucky, submitting people, being a beast, to now getting here. And I have to tell you, maybe I'm misrepresenting here, but it didn't come as a full shock to me, because he made an appearance on Brandon Schaub's Food Truck Diaries. And in that appearance, he was dropping F-bombs consistently. And it was almost like he was giving you a peek, like, you like this? We're testing out the waters. If you like this, check into 1FC. And I just started thinking, I was like, dude, I'm the last person to tell somebody to stop cursing. It's just when I say it, it sounds natural. When he says it, I go, oh, this dude's just mad. And I don't even know why. So I'm hoping he's in a good place. I'm hoping all is well. But I think you brought up a couple interesting facts, which are, he called out some people, but then other people wanting to kind of get into the situation.
Yeah.
So as a result of that, who did you see who was stepping up or who wanted that smoke that Mikey was putting out there?
Well, Gio Martinez, you know, the freakazoid, Mikey pulled a stunt on the mic against Gio not too far back in the past, and basically said he shouldn't be a black belt, and made some comments, and you know, Mikey gets pretty he gets pretty fired up about policy, and so you know, that was an ordeal. And Gio's like, hey man, let's run that back, let's do this again. Let's have it out. And I would love to see it. And I love Gio. I'm a big Gio fan. But dude, I want to see him do power slap. Like, I think that's where we will see the real Mikey Musumeci, dude. Like, you know, just like holding that little towel behind his back, little pasta stained towel. It's got red sauce on it. I think he'd do fantastic. That's what I really want to see. I don't know if Gio's up for it, but I think the fans would love to see it.
I think all of us are in a space where you can put Mikey against a number of opponents and you say like, okay, I kind of want to see that. Or, oh, that's fascinating. But when I saw the Gio being like, we can run it, I go, yeah, Gio's not somebody you can play with like that. Like, Gio's so down for the cause that sometimes it's right opportunity, right presentation, right moment. I just know that for Mikey, like, I hope that this is still as fun as he wants it to be. Because it's hard to get a read on what this is. And if you're that good, not saying I've ever experienced it in that realm, but when you're that good, do those challenges create more pressure? Do those challenges create more, like more emotional responses like that? Because I saw Tom DeBlas pull him aside and you got the sense he was trying to course correct what it was. Like, hey, come here. Hey, yeah. Tom's like, hey, I got Mikey right here. And he's a good kid. But he's got some things that he wants to talk about, right? So it was like a quick, like, hey, just in case you didn't hear what he said, let's kind of say what it is. And then it became like a weird anti-bullying PSA.
Oh, wow.
That Mikey was saying that he was the one that was bullied, so he was standing up to him. So that's what that was about. And yet you wouldn't get that read if you just watched the end of that speech in the cage. So even in the get back or the post speech, I was like, I don't know that I have more answers than I did. And I thought that was the whole point of that. So I don't know. I can tell you there's a lot of compelling matchups and I'm stoked for it. But let me also make sure we make this clear before we get out of here. And let me put the camera on me because I don't want you on this one. Mikey, this is Raf. My name is RAF ESPARZA. We met a couple times. I hope you do not construe any of this as talking shit about you. Because in the cage, you did say people are talking shit about you. And I hope we can delineate the difference between, hey, we really like your jiu-jitsu and you seem like a nice guy, to that was a healthy amount of fucks you just used in that sentence, sir. So I hope all is well, buddy. Please continue to do good things. I think we're all slightly afraid of you now. Back to us. It's just, I don't know, man. These are the moments right before in a Marvel movie when, like, Bruce Banner has no more control and it's only Hulk. So slightly nervous here.
Yep.
Okay.
Cat's out of the box, man.
There's no putting it back in. But
It's
I
like
was just like, especially when it was like, these people in the media, they're all questioning me. I was like, bro, I don't know if you know you were the favorite.
Yeah.
I think we all thought you were going to win.
What was the question? It was just how you were going to win. That was the question. How and what you were going to eat. You're so damn good. We're fixated on what you're going to eat before you beat the guy. Like,
to be
get
fair,
over yourself, dude.
The prompt came as a result of Chaudhry's going to give you all this money. What do you have to say? I've got some issues. I've got an enemy list. And I was like, oh, no. Just say you were excited about the money. And then he caught himself 2 minutes in and goes, by the way, I'm very excited about the money.
Yeah.
I go, oh, man. Well, at least we got the save there. So that is what's going on at 1FC. Again, props to both Mikey and to KADE. Those were big moments for us here in jiu-jitsu, and we root for our jiu-jitsu heroes because we want to see the sport do big things. And if you're not going to make money with us, we hope you make money elsewhere, but those guys definitely got some bonuses this week. All right, you posted this one, and I'm intrigued to hear how you have solutions for this because it has been a hectic week in the jiu-jitsu world. And we'll get more into why it was so hectic. But Tim, you seem like you want to increase the peace here. So I guess the prompt that we have here is, how would you broker peace between CJI and ADCC? I start with you, sir.
I don't know. It's starting to feel, you remember like back in the 90s when they would on the news, you got to remember this. You're a
Yes.
SoCal guy. The news would be like, the Bloods and the Crips met in Griffith Park today and brokered a peace deal or something, you know, like, I don't know if we're going to get there, but maybe power slaps the move. I don't know. I think that the gauntlet's been thrown down. Okay. At this point. And now we're getting to a place where I'm just saying, like, are we going to keep fighting against each other, or are we just going to start looking towards that weekend in August and start executing? Because I think at a certain point, it's like, yeah, you won the meme war. Okay, cool. You're the funniest guy on the internet. You're making these guys look bad. They're kind of stooges playing their hands into it. But at a certain point, we got to put the phones down and actually get to work and deliver a really high quality product, because both promotions are kind of like in a weird spot where either of them can drop the ball and both of them can potentially carry the ball. So I think the way to broker peace is to put your phone away and get to work, and then just let the chips fall where they're going to fall. I don't think you're going to be able to solve this before that weekend. I think the events have to take place. We have to see how the jiu-jitsu community responds, and then we got to come together and figure out what we're really going to do, because it won't be good long term for one organization to be consistently trying to take out ADCC. That's just not a viable way for jiu-jitsu to move forward, in my opinion. I think there's room for both of them if we can figure that out. But I don't know, man. We have to bring somebody in. We got to bring Samuel L. Jackson in as a hostage negotiator with Denzel Washington. Get it all sorted out. We got to use your Hollywood connections, Raph. Let's go.
Well, there's nothing funnier than Samuel L. Jackson being like, "What issue do you have? You need to get it together." So yeah, that would be a lot of fun. You prompted something, which is, how would you broker the peace? So when you say broker the peace, I kind of try to split it up in a few different ways. But can I present maybe my thought here?
Yes.
I think we need to not have peace for the next 3 months. Here's why. As long as everybody can keep it within a certain realm of professionalism, and we saw this weekend it's teetering a little bit more. I think that competitively, these organizations can benefit from competing against each other, and that we would see the benefits of that as audiences. What becomes difficult is if there is a death threat or things that heighten the situation. But I guess my question to you is, why are we heightening this? Because it doesn't need to exist. These are business entities that are going up against each other, organizations. And you got people who are so ride or die that they're saying that organization sucks dick, or this organization I like better, or this organization isn't doing this or this. These are critical areas for debate that are important. But I think keeping that civility is more the issue. So rather than broker peace, I want civility. Like, I need people to understand that certain actions have reactions, or essentially sort of responsibilities that kind of come with them. So if you do something that is going to be like a death threat, perhaps you should be willing to understand there are going to be repercussions as a result of that. So to me, I'm still trying to work out how these two coexist. But if they just present the best of what they're capable of doing, they're going to do great. But part of the reason why I think they need to exist as competitors is, look at what it has already done for the ADCC. We have seen now the presentation of show money, which we will get into a little bit later. You have seen them up the pay for women. You have seen them have to deal with the fact that they made certain people at ADCC competitors for what is told to them is their Olympics. The pinnacle of our sport have to share rooms. All at times when we're saying, can we just look at the budget a little bit better? Because that venue is out of bounds. These are areas for debate that are good, and I think that have helped ADCC curtail some of their less satisfactory practices. So it's my hope, but the one thing we can't control is people's emotions about it. And I feel like people in the comment section may want to spend some more time critically thinking about what they put into the ether. Like, yeah, we have fun here on the show, but we do spend some time trying to put together our thoughts and at least present them in ways that say like, hey, here's a couple jokes that make no sense or that we're having fun, but here's our larger point. And when you have that, at the very least, it's not just like, well, fuck those guys. Because I feel like that's where you start to see like the need for a Samuel L. Jackson to come in and be the negotiator. I think that's when you see people start coming in and saying like, well, how did this turn so quickly? It doesn't have to. It's two competing organizations. I don't see anybody from the NFC going to the AFC being like, get strapped, motherfuckers. Here we go. Like, it's just like, hey, man, we'll see you at the Super Bowl. And I think that would be the eventual culmination here if they were smart and had less egos. But I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it could come to that. It's hard to say how exactly it's going to play out. But, you know, at a certain point, it's like, let's go, dude. What are we doing? We're getting off target. Like, it's okay to get off the rail a little bit, but you got to have the rails, man. If you're talking about doing things that criminal organizations do, then it's like, well, what kind of world are you living in? You know what I mean? Like this is jujitsu. Yeah, people are scrapping and it's combat, but at the end of the day, nobody needs to be worried if they need to look over their shoulder because they might get attacked over some, meme that they put. Look, I'm saying this. Let's make dreams come true, not memes come true, because right now we're making all the memes come true and we look like a bunch of damn fools. And it would be nice if we could actually focus on these goals that are out in front of us and pull off two really dope events. It could be great for jiu-jitsu. I think that's my biggest take on that whole situation. But I think said, you're right. I like the war.
You know what you said that made me realize what's happening here? We've literally become some real Professor X Magneto kind of drama right now. Like, you ever notice how in the X-Men, all these guys are going to war because Professor X and Magneto are having a bad breakup. And they're like, hey, go attack Magneto. Why? Because we have a difference in opinion. Bust his ass right now, Wolverine. And you're like, wait, we're fighting because y'all beefing? Like, that is essentially what is happening with ADCC and Craig Jones Invitational right now. Just, They can both coexist. They don't have to be fighting. And I think both are providing good avenues for athletes to compete. So just consider that before you guys get into the comment section. And you know what, Tim? I think that takes us nicely to an area that I'd like to take a moment. So I'm going to go ahead and zero you out here, sir, if you do not mind.
Let's go.
But let's go ahead and put our next topic, which is stress into itself. All right. Why the word stress? And speaking of Steve Carell, there we go. We just have him right there. A lot of the times we get people who are talking about wanting the best for the future of jiu-jitsu and that we want mainstream acceptance. And yes, it seems like every action we take is well-intentioned, but sometimes it can be incredibly flawed in terms of helping to move the sport forward. Amidst an incredibly crazy time between two organizations in the past month or so, two things struck out to me just this past week in our ecosystem that would fail a stress test in just about any other sport. So I'd like to take a moment to identify what I consider two key areas that I think might signal we're not ready for the big time. And I think you guys probably know what they are, but in the event you do not, let's go ahead and bring them to light right now. Death threats. In a wild turn of events this weekend, Craig Jones revealed that he received a death threat from a prominent organizer under the ADCC banner. Now, this particular has a history of some unfortunate behavior, both behind the scenes and on social media. So unfortunately, this is not any kind of isolated behavior. And given some of the statements that they've made in the past, it's somewhat remarkable that they have not been previously been reprimanded or punished. It should go without saying that death threats are not acceptable. Now, I say this because on many of the social media posts about the situation, there were defenders in the comment section who were quick to point out all of the good this person has done for the sport. And you know, I'm all for approaching complicated legacies with a nuanced approach, but perhaps don't do that on the same post where we just discovered they sent a death threat at 5 a.m. in the morning. Maybe, just maybe, wait for the next post. Maybe one not involving a death threat to do such a thing. Because when you defend that behavior, you are normalizing that behavior. And if we really want the sport to become bigger, normalizing or deflecting the severity of such a thing not only encourages it to happen again, but makes us look like a laughingstock compared to other professional sports. I'd urge those of you who are prone to defend this certain individual to perhaps reach out to that person instead, because it might be a time where they could use the help. And yes, Seth and I have not seen eye to eye on a number of things, but this behavior is probably more of an indication that they might not be doing okay mentally. And if that's the case, I do hope that Seth gets help. Seriously. Also, if ADCC did indeed fire Seth for his remarks, it would be one of the first times the organization did something from a crisis PR perspective akin to a major sports organization. And they should be applauded for that. All right, this one. A minor. Nicholas Marigali, a 30-year-old, is dating a teenager. He has been quick to point out that she is now 19 years old and that he met her several months ago when she was still 18. Marigali has defended himself online and posted videos of him and his girlfriend. And of course, Gordon Ryan has entered the chat to cheer on his teammate. It's worth noting that they are celebrating the lowest of cleared bars, which also should be noted is staggering. Nonetheless, there have already been some great takes on this matter by memers and by Creonch Media. If you haven't seen those, I highly suggest you go look at those. But here you have Gordon and Marigali, two of our best athletes in jiu-jitsu, who treat elements of online debate like a sport. However, unlike their skills in jiu-jitsu, they often have no idea when they are on the losing end of an argument. But don't worry, in absence of basic awareness, they almost always double down on ignorance. And yes, while it's not technically illegal, counter arguments like everyone be jealous they're not dating a teenager and high-fiving that kind of a relationship like Marigali just podiumed at Worlds is undeniably fucking weird. That's not even touching upon the idea that they're celebrating like securing a girlfriend is some sort of trophy, or the fact that there are power dynamics in our sport that make some women feel uneasy when they train in gyms. But this situation and the death threats this weekend are two areas that should probably give you pause when considering how a mainstream audience might look at two of our biggest stars and a prominent promoter. Lord knows other sports have their problems for sure, but jiu-jitsu is hardly under the same scrutiny. So I'd invite you all to critically look at the way we view situations like these. If we're truly trying to grow the sport, it's not just the way we present the sport. It is the way we respond and react to moments like this, and how we keep people in power and athletes accountable. Because as that spotlight gets bigger, I can tell you this, those TV deals or sponsorships that we keep hoping will circling around this sport will definitely want to steer clear from us at all costs. Because again, as much as I want the sport to continue to grow in popularity, weekends like this remind me that we have a long way to go. And it's not to say that we can't grow. It just means that we occasionally need to have some sports fans grow a backbone and learn to stand up to their idols. All right. Tim, I'm pulling you back on now.
Let's go. Another good take, Raf.
Thank you.
I think you made some good points there. It's always been a big issue in the jiu-jitsu scene where the athletes want to be treated like professionals, but their conduct isn't necessarily that on the level of professionals. And I know these guys are young guys. I know they're savages. I know other pro sports have similar issues. But look, man, you want to get paid. Everyone's trying to get paid. Well, companies aren't giving money to dudes that are out there acting cringy and weird on a major level unless it's also a company that's attracting cringy and weird folk. And that's just kind of how it goes, man. So this is a growing pain of jiu-jitsu going from a mostly amateur sport to a professional sport. And there's going to be a separation, and some people are going to get left on the wrong side of it. And some people are going to cash in on a big opportunity, and some are going to miss it. And if you guys can't see that, you're hosed. You know, you got to be able to see it. And some guys can't see it right now for whatever reason, dude. It's like, yeah, it's cool, but it doesn't look good. What are you going to do?
It's so insane, but we alluded to this earlier, which was the civility of it, which is, hey, man, I don't think we need to be getting into other people's DMs to send them those sorts of things at 5 a.m. And I get it. Competitiveness can sometimes get the best of us, but it is a little bit telling, and it's more concerning than anything. So on that side, I get it. On the actual Marigali side, I guess the question is, what benefit do you see from this? Not what you're doing. Like your personal life is one thing, but flaunting it like you don't understand the reason why people have a reaction to it is a form of immaturity that is only co-signed by your teammate who doesn't want to see you lose. And so as a result, it's that doubling down like, no, we don't take L's here, where it's like, what are you even arguing? And why are you going so far to argue about the validity of this that you make up arguments like, hey, don't you wish everybody could date a teenager? That's what I'm saying. And then turn it into a Bud Light commercial high five where you go, yeah. And you go, this is weird. And I think the feedback you're getting isn't haters as much as it is, maybe you guys should understand this is kind of weird. And that's just at the smallest level. So that's why when I went to go title this one, you know, they talk about stress tests for hearts, where the stress test fails, they understand you might be an issue or a trouble. I think a stress test for a sport is, how do we survive? Or like, what are the likelihoods that we are going to be okay if put under true duress? So that's where I get concerned, because in our own little ecosystem, these feel like these little rumors or small forms of gossip, at least in the way that it's told from gym to gym or online. But I argue it's bigger than that. I think it's a bigger way in which we show as a sport how we handle things professionally. So everybody's so caught up in what it looks like on TV or how it looks like to sponsors. And I go, well, those things wouldn't necessarily look great. And if you're looking for the exception to the rules in other sports, probably look at how they handle almost every other 99% in the situation. So that's kind of why I want to make sure as we do get bigger, we are being smarter about how we get bigger. And Winterstick, I see a few of your notes. We're going to get to them when we get to the gallery. But for right now, we're going to press on to this, which is, hey guys, it's not all gloom and doom. We got to say, some things happen and some things are great. And it's ADCC is going to give some more show money now, or show money period, which I think is good. Now what? So Tim, I beg of you, now what?
Well, I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but I'm gonna be I'm gonna be that guy right now. Uh, ADCC has done 1 day weigh-ins, so that's great. We're gonna pay the lady competitors more. Okay, that's great, right? And now we're gonna give show money. That's great too. But at the same time, it's like they're taking a page out of the corporate overlords book, like volume 666. Like, we're going to give you a tiny amount of money. And I'm not trying to be like totally ungrateful about it, but at the same time, it's like, dude, you're not even coming in close to what the other organization's doing. And is this like a negotiation with the jujitsu community? Like, how about if we do this? Well, this is this cool? Does this make you happy? Don't give too much, because then later we can come back. Well, how about 5,000? We'll give them 5,000. And like I said, I'm not I'm not trying to be ungrateful about it, but at the same time, if you're gonna make an overture, if you're gonna come out, hey, here's this thing, we're gonna do this. We have heard your complaints and we are responding. We're gonna give you a 5% discount because we ruined your meal. And it's like, oh wow, thanks, man. Like, I do appreciate it, but that's like, you probably need to come with a little bit more if you want us to take you seriously. And that's my whole beef with it, is like, okay, well, what's next? How about this is next? How about go like, we're going to give everyone 20 G's, or we're never going to pay anybody. We're making it clear right now this is about prestige. But this breadcrumb thing is like, I think it's a terrible idea. I don't think it's playing well at all. I think it's actually going to have the opposite effect. It looks like you're trying to keep a girl from leaving you. Well, what if I'll fix your car? I'll get you a new stereo. I promise I'll take you to, the Olive Garden on Friday night. It's all you can eat salad. It's like, what are we doing? Like, let's really freaking do this if we're going to do it. I guess kind of that's where I'm coming from on it. So I don't know, man. What do you think about that?
You may recall that maybe about a month ago, I just said, if you're ADCC, run your race. And
Yeah.
the reason I gave that note was because I said anything you do is going to look like you're bending to this immediate reaction. Like, it's a knee-jerk reaction that isn't correcting what it needs to correct. It's more so just trying to be like, hey, look here. And that's exactly what it looks like right now. So it's not to say that those things are meaningless. 2,500 is still good money to give to people that maybe they don't make at other super fights. But for professionals, it's hard pressed to get like super excited about it. And I have to be honest, when I was looking for a photo to kind of express the dichotomy of how I feel, the Rodney Dangerfield, hey, everybody, we're all going to get laid. Like, it feels like an early celebration on the field, maybe about 20 yards before the end zone. I want to stay focused on the fact that there are big problems we need to correct. Having said that,
Yeah.
I think it's good they're making these improvements. I'm hard pressed to believe they're for any other reason than the pressure that's been applied to them. I wonder where they want to go with it. Mo has alluded to the fact that once they get big sponsorships and they don't have to rely on the sheik, which is a weird phraseology. He has said the money comes from the sheik and we're reliant on the prize money from the sheik. So some people have speculated maybe some of these things are coming out of Mo's pocket. Some people are speculating, like, we just don't know. And that's the problem, is you get speculation when you don't get real answers other than maybe the policy changes, but not how it is changing. Then you also have allegations that there may be under the table money, which won't be the same for everybody. So it's trying to keep certain people there or using leverage pressure on them. I can't substantiate any of that. It's just rumblings that you hear. And part of the reason you hear it is because when the policy isn't clearly stated, people are allowed to make up their own things. Like, it becomes more an interpretation. And the best that we do here on this show is we take what we hear, we bring it to the fold, and we say, here's what the reaction is, or here's what people are saying. From my perspective, Still a long way to go. Still something that we're very hopeful can improve and may improve drastically over time. It's just seeing their reaction doesn't give you confidence that this will happen again if we need to raise those rates. And from a trolling perspective, if they were truly about that life, they should have come in with $10,000 and $2 for show money if they wanted to get back a Craig Jones Invitational. Like, if you're going to play that game, play it with them and just be like, well, yeah, you know what? We go Price is Right, $1 over your $1. Like,
no, I know shit, right? That's the move.
Because at the very least, I get that it's more money. I just understand that when we're in this space, you were probably better served just doing it. I think the real question is, could they sustain doing nothing to the athletes? So maybe they were going to just do their show, and that was the original plan. But as some of the athletes were entertaining offers, they're like, can you make any good gesture to us to keep us here? And that is why you have seen MICA basically announce that he will be saying, which I actually think is a great transition, because yes, they had some great news that there's going to be show money, allegedly, if that is not an AI recording that has been released of Mo saying that, because you did get the sense, and I don't know if you felt this way too, but that recording almost sounded like Mo was being held hostage and that he was being told to read something like, hey, read this. I will give more show money to the athletes, and it will be $2,500 to make sure that they stay happy at the ADCC, the premier organization for jiu-jitsu. No, I did not say that by being held at gunpoint. I was saying it of my own free will and accord. So I don't know. But that brings us to this, which is, yes, some things improved, but one real big sign was, yes, Mika Galvo basically made the statement that he will be staying at ADCC. So I ask of you this: what is your thought on that? And who is left to then start pulling over to the Craig Jones Invitational, Tim?
I mean, Mika's a big win. He's a big name. I believe he just won Worlds, right? I think he finished the Grand Slam, which is, I'm pretty sure that was him. It's not easy to get, you know, on the gi side. That's very tricky to do. He finished that. That's Pans, Worlds, Europeans, and the Brazilian Nationals. So congrats to him on that. He's staying with ADCC. I think that's cool. $2,500. Listen, that's how much you get paid if you win a regional cornhole event. You get $2,500 for throwing a beanbag into a board with a hole in it. I'm not kidding. I looked it up, and I'm not talking too much smack, but I'm just saying, like, that's where we're at. If you're like jiu-jitsu super, look, that's where we're at. We're at cornhole, right? We're not even at cornholes on ESPN2. We're not quite there yet. We're working towards it. But I think it's cool that Mika's going to stay there. If you look at the rosters, ADCC released, I think it was through Flow, they released a list of names, and this was updated as of to like June 7th, of people that were pretty much going to be invited. Some said confirmed, some didn't. They still have Fiona Davies up there, which is kind of funny. But there's still some big names that are going to be there. Giancarlo Bodini, Kanan's there, obviously Gordon Ryan, Cade Rotolo, Baby Shark is there. So there's still a lot of big names. We know that there's been some folks who have been added. Ryan Akins has been recently added to the list. I think they're still going to have a good event. And I want to remind the jiu-jitsu community, and maybe if you weren't in the jiu-jitsu world back then, this might be new for you, but I know RAF remembers this. Back in 2016, I think it was in June of 2016, we had EBI 7 on a Saturday, and we had Meta Morris on a Sunday. And on the same day as Meta Morris, Uncle Chael had his submission underground. And we saw Eddie Cummings fighting Bill Cooper. We saw Gary Tonin fighting Halleck Gracie, which I want to come back to Halleck. We saw Benson Henderson fight Jake Shields. It was an awesome week of jiu-jitsu. These promotions were kind of competing with each other and kind of not. There's some overlap, just like is coming up. This is not the first world war that's taken place in jiu-jitsu. This has happened before. It's just the current biggest one right now, and it seems to be really intense because it's a major organization that's involved. It's not like a bunch of startups that are trying to change it. ADCC's been around for a long time now. This is their 15th event in 26 years, so they're not new to the game at all. But circling back to Halleck actually wants to get into CJI, and I'm not kidding. He said, I'm not kidding. I'm really not. He said that he wants to use the money to pay back some of the money that he owes for Metamoris, which I think Craig should give him an invite and should just attach the wages directly and just go like, who do you owe? Oh, AJ, you're finally going to get your money, AJ. Like, you're going to get it. I think there it is. So I just think that would be, it's a crazy wrinkle in the jiu-jitsu world right now. And I'm so glad that I'm still around to be part of all of it, man. It's fascinating stuff.
Do you understand that this world decided it was not a crazy enough week? Like, it was like, you know what? Some underage things, death threats. You start thinking like, are the locusts coming out anytime soon? You start thinking like, what else could possibly show up? And you're thinking, if you're me and Tim, who've been around the sport for a very long time, we've seen a lot of things come and go, but there's one constant. The Metamoris athletes have not been paid. And then to see this emerge from a lake, which I must give credit to, I laughed at the concept and then immediately went like, no, let us have a thing, Hollick. Don't come back here yet. Because this dude heard there was money on the table and said, hey, I know how we can resolve one of the worst endings right here, right now. And it just made me think.
How beautiful would that be?
Oh my God. It would be poetic, but I need people to hear us out on this. It became a joke because we were all upset the athletes didn't get paid. But when Metamoris was kicking, all of us really were rooting for it. We were trying to be there as much as we could. And then, like, the first signal to me was, hey, we're not doing press for this event. And I was disappointed, but I said, you know what? We'll still support it. And at the time, one of their publicity guys even was like, let me send you a code just to make sure you can cover it because I feel so bad you can't cover this. And I'm like, that's awesome. It's less about like, we can't afford it, we can't do this. It's more about like, what does that mean for the organization if you don't want press? Are you just trying to make more money from the ticket sales? But like having press there covers it, does two things. One, it gives it some legitimacy because otherwise you get content creators who just ask dumb questions. And really, I get why you would want to use them, but it's not the professionalism that you want in other sports. And two, how much money do you think you're going to make from those extra seats? Like, it can't be the money that keeps this thing going. Like, your business model, if it just hinges all on ticket sales, that's not going to recoup the cost, let alone the ability to get production or the athletes. And it was our first big sign for a big event that something was not right in Denmark. And it hurt us to see the athletes not make money. And so, yes, to cope with it, we had to start laughing at it. But at its core, it was a great event. They did 7 or 8 matches. Yeah. We had a blast. We were rooting for it. We used to do panel shows like this to preview those big events. We treated them like events because it was the only thing of its kind. And a lot of what you saw from that era was a repercussion of let's make a thing of it. Let's make an event. Let's see what happens. And they were first. So when Hollick got to be in his absurd Batman villain-esque, hey, I'm just going to run with this, we basically would make fun of it. We'd try to point out maybe through some public joking shame he might feel the need to pay people. And we got absurd after absurd after absurd note and line. So all these years later, to see this man walk from out of a lake to go, did someone say big event? And you go, no, go back to where he came from. And you think to yourself, listen, can we just do this one first? And then we can get around to some fun side quests. Because as it is, we want this one new thing to exist without the weird baggage of something else.
Yeah.
Let us have one, Hollick.
I feel you.
And then
I feel you.
Maybe we can reevaluate where we stand. Because I want to make it clear, Tim's always been very pro all of this. I've had reserved issues, but I don't hate anybody. And I certainly don't really hate Hollick. I have seen some very terrible explanations, and clearly the ambition was there. What's happened is the narrative has changed, and he's always been like, but we were first. And you go, right, but it was bad toward the end. And he's like, but you can't deny what we did. And you go, literally, just pay them, dude. If you paid them, maybe we would all shut up. And that's where we've been at.
Yeah, there's definitely some holdover baggage. Although, like you said, I'm a fan of Halleck. I don't have anything. I don't really look. I have good and bad to say about a lot of people. Just like people got good and bad shit to say about me.
Yeah.
So it's just he lives in the town I live in. I might bump into him at coffee.
I mean, let's put it this way. I know there are people who won't be asking me to coffee, and I feel like he is one of them. But I will say this. He did send a message after I put up a post that said, hey, thanks for putting John Evans on commentary. And I had put up a public statement saying, like, John did a great job. It was one of his big debuts. And he sent me a note on Twitter. At least I think it's him. I'm pretty sure it's him because he couldn't afford anybody else. And then he put a photo of me at one of the events being like, hey, remember the good times? Like, this was good, kind of a thing. And I go, yeah, dude. If you're serious about making good inroads and switching things around, I know it's tough, but you can always reach out and we will put you on, but it will be accountable questioning. Like, you won't get an easy treatment if you appear on my show, but it will be fair. And I feel like that has always been my line, which is, hey man, I have nothing to hate for you. If you want to talk, let's talk. Just be prepared to know some of these will be tough questions, but I'd rather let you have the ability to say what you need to say rather than going so ambiguous with your business plan or your intentions that people fill in the blanks for you.
Yeah, I get dude, I get that part of it. And I've definitely experienced that conversationally. I do got to say that the last time I saw him, he came into the gym out here in Nashville. And we had a off the record conversation about things. And some of those things he said to me, it was like, man, if you would just say this when somebody puts a microphone in front of you, I think it would go a long, long way. But that's it's not my place. I'm not his PR guy. I just view him as a peer in the jiu-jitsu world. Obviously he's really great at jiu-jitsu. He's a lot of fun to roll with. And I hope someday that package can be buttoned up and we can put it on the shelf and just remember it for mostly the good and the things that were made right, even if they take a long time to be made right. God damn it,
Tim. I just love the fact that you're like, man, I want to remember the good times.
I know
that trauma we all went through, but like, hey man, my abuser, he was cool. He gave me some good snacks every once in a while. Like, I got some Oreos here and there. It was good. It was fine. I just know I have a certain way I like to report, and it has always been in the realm of what I consider to be fair. And I always try to remember, like, yeah, these are people on the other side of it, you know, and it's going again right back to Seth, which is, listen, dude, there's clearly differences in opinion, but I don't care if you hate me. I don't find it into hating people. You can hate things that people do or they say or that they feel, but hating a person involves a lot more out of any one of us than you really should be giving people. So for me, I'm like, yo, if you need to exist somewhere else, that's fine. I hope in the time Holic has gone off, he's gone to go do other things, but you know, it's part of his side quests. So maybe, yeah, it is his journey to come back here. But if Craig does give that guy a chance, I mean, is it an entertaining spectacle? Sure. I don't know that he brings in eyeballs for anything other than old people like me and you who go, what? Why are we? Oh, that's right. He owes money.
What if he wins? What if he wins and he doesn't pay anybody?
I was about to
he
say,
just
you brought up exactly where I was going, where I was like, if that motherfucker comes in and steals from jiu-jitsu one more goddamn time, and I'm going to be like, yo, I hate respect you so goddamn much. How dare you, you bitch? I would probably have to actually applaud him if he actually pulled off that heist. Like, what if Holic is actually our Ocean's 11's Danny Ocean? Like, he's just the person who came in and pulled the biggest heist ever in jiu-jitsu, which is, I'm going to put on a show that's so good, you're not going to see I robbed you. And you go, wait, where's my wallet? Where? That goddamn Holic again. So anyway.
Got me.
He got us again. It's just, I swear to you, Tim, the averse reaction I had with my hand holding it, like, no, no, you get out of, you don't come here. You leave us alone. Holic was so
I had my
intense.
arms open. I was like, prodigal son, come back home, baby. Let's go.
Can't tell you enough. It's different because he showed up to your gym. He and I have not had an interaction in years. I can tell you this. I'm sure I would go up to him and acknowledge him and be like, hello, hi. But
yeah,
at the very least, it's just my thought of, we don't need any more complications. I don't need other people coming out of the woodwork. The last thing I need is for freaking, like, the ghosts of jiu-jitsu past all coming out like it's the series finale of jiu-jitsu on August 19th. And you're just like, wait, what? Who? Wait, is that Haleo Gracie that just showed up? What the fuck is happening here? Like, that is the type of Ghostbusters 2 epicness that I fear is in the future. So anyway, all right, let's go to our next topic, which is one that you obviously presented to me and that I feel is not only worth our time, but definitely worth a demonstrated sort of moment where we break down the techniques here. And it says, hold on, it's Scooby-Doo. Raph is going to go up to Craig Jones and pull off his mask, and it's Holic. Honestly, not the worst scenario. And Holic being like, ooh, and I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you damn kids. And be like, oh, it's pretty funny.
Damn bullpen show.
Your damn bullpen. Oh, it's that RAF ESPARZA. I knew it. Oh, my nemesis finds me again. I'd be like, yep, it's me, Holic. It's always me. I don't go anywhere. So you brought this up. Let's take a look at this footage. Tell me what I'm seeing here, Tim, if you would be so kind.
Yeah, this is the Nate Diaz, Jorge Masvidal press conference, and there's some mouthing off going, and the dude with the chain on, someone swipes at him, and I love how he throws the kick. He follows up with like a good calf kick. He was going for a low calf kick, trying to shut the dude's foot off, trying to give him the drop foot. And then then a total melee broke out. Masvidal was in on the action. The thing about this video, there's a couple things. I don't know if we could run it back, but the dude in the maroonish shirt does a weird hand fighting thing to the guy that tries to hold him back. He basically like does some Wing Chun against the dude in the suit. Watch him. He go right here. He goes pop, 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 pop. And now he's going forward. The dude with the dreads, and I hate to say this, but I know several of the guys in this video. And I don't want to name any names, but these are all Stockton boys that I'm very familiar with. So yeah, it broke out, and those are real deal dudes. A couple of those guys probably shouldn't be swinging on people in a crowd like that on a camera. But they did. And I don't know if this is good or bad, but the technique was pretty clean. Like for a melee, that was a pretty clean set of techniques.
Let's be
and
real.
The dude in
It's
the
the
maroon
best
shirt held his
technique that
own.
we've had on all of the fight breakdowns that we've done so far.
It is. It's not bad. And, you know, I was a little disappointed that the UPS guy didn't roll in, but I think maroon shirt guy, he did this little thing where he tucks his gold chain into his shirt before he gets into it. I don't know if it's in that video. It was in one of them that I watched. He tucks the chain in.
Oh, I see the chain.
Watch.
No, it's afterwards. Yeah, because you see the chain already firmly in that polo.
It's already come out.
So I want to bring up what you were talking about was this Wang Chung little thing that he's doing
or something.
The hand fighting. So watch, he gets slapped and then he kicks, but this is his, you know, we could discuss ideas on how different techniques should work here, but I think he was trying to break the grip, and his version of it was a little bit more of a Tai Chi sort of like, no, you get off me. But it was effective. He didn't get the hands off him. So, all right, cool. You know, I was actually very happy to hear that we do have a voiceover from a very prominent person within this this melee. So I'm going to replay it with the voiceover that we ended up getting. So they may call for some stop and starting. So you may notice some jerkiness in the footage. And if that's the case, just kind of roll with it. But here we go. So basically in this fucking fight breakdown, I'm going to tell you guys what the fuck happened here. Look, these are my boys. They're getting like, why are you slapping, bitch? Like, okay, yeah, we going to do this. Okay, yeah, do that shit. And basically right over here, he said, take a seat, fool. And then everybody started toppling over those. And then there's that bitch, man. But oh, fuck that guy, man. I look at him and I'm like, oh shit, Jesus, he rose again. Too bad he didn't wake up a little bit earlier, because look at how pressed that hair is, fam. Just saying, bro. Maybe before you resurrect, you could put it on a pony. You know what I mean? Maybe you could get a side pone. And you take off that Julio Cesar Chavez fucking shirt, bro. You can't be wearing that shit. You look like a banana out there. Anyway, he's like, all like, yeah, street Jesus, Cuban Jesus, whatever you want to call me. And don't dap him up, fam. Well, you know, I'm going to do a technique breakdown right here. This dude's like trying to get his props right now. Bro, nobody deserves props from any of this. Look, oh yeah, look at all of us. Anyway, I'm supposed to fight this dude. You know, it's going to be really fucking stupid. So, anyway, fuck these hoes, smoke weed every day.
That's about it. That's about it. Nice work. It's amazing how much everyone loves a fight. That fight happened just like all the elementary school fights I've ever seen, every high school fight. The crowd gets into it. They circle up. And before you know it, the two guys that were jaw-jacking, they're not even fighting. Their crews are fighting. Their residual tough guy crews are fighting. It's wild, man.
You know what it is it's kind of like in basketball, your bench squad is fighting. So it's kind of cool that your bench squad gets some rounds in, because you worry about them. Yeah. Maybe that, you know, they're helping you get ready for a fight, but their name's not on the marquee, so they're not going to have a match. So you're like, yo, you guys want some time? Let's do some garbage time fight right now. You guys get out there. Let's do this. So it's very kind of these camps to let their crew get in some work and work out their anger, because, you know, hey, listen, normally I don't say this, but if it's for a fight like this, maybe somebody sees your technique and goes, hey, is that guy interested in some bare knuckle stuff? Maybe we sign him up. Let's see what we can get going on here. I just know that if I'm ever involved in those situations, I'll probably be like Ariel Helwani and be like, wait, no. I'm going to get right out of here. Sorry, guys. My thing is jiu-jitsu. So you didn't even bring up the best part, is that a lot of this scuffle was taking place as a result of some of the barbs that went back and forth. Now, Nate Diaz, nobody's calling him a hero here, but maybe we should be, because Nate Diaz was the one in response to one Jorge Masvidal going like, yeah, we're going to do this, and it's not going to be any of that dumb jiu-jitsu stuff. Fuck jiu-jitsu. And then you heard Nate Diaz very eloquently be like, you better shut the fuck up. You better respect the art. You better respect the sport. You better, I'm going to come over there, you fucking bitch, and I'm going to slap the shit out of you. Like, that to me was a great moment. So, like, heroes from this week, KADE, Mikey-ish, depending on what part of the show you watched for 1FC, Nate Diaz. And you know what? Oh my God, I didn't even think about it. If I had to rank them, I never thought there'd be a world where there'd be more of a hero in Nate Diaz for jiu-jitsu than there was for Mikey Musumeci. But here we are, guys. Upside world. Oh my God, Mikey was more of a heel than Nate Diaz. It has all come full circle for me here.
Insane, right? Insane. Nate's going to turn into a heel face.
It's 100%.
You know what I mean?
It's going to be a double turn right now. He's 100% about to have a great face run. Well, I'm glad we were able to look at that. I don't even know. I mean, the only thing I want to kind of touch on before we finish here is just, listen, dude, you know I love absurdity. I love dumb movies. I love physical humor. There was no better physical humor than losing an entire section worth of seats right here. Because
it's worse
to
than the
me,
PGF.
It is worse than the PGF, but just seeing that go was like, if you hear the chairs make a sound, it right here is like, boom. And then looking back at the melee, like you can't look at the rest of this footage without seeing those chairs go down. Like they served their country with distinction, but now they're dead. Those chairs gave their lives for this melee, you guys. So give them their props and give them their respect.
It's like a Civil War reenactment where you see the soldiers just lay down. They're like,
they can't get back up until everybody
Cheetos. Yeah. I'm dead.
They're dead until they hear the bell that clears everybody. It's like, oh, can we get up now? Okay, great. But
round 2.
You know what it is? I think what we need to do in the future, we need to get people who work on the show who do our social media, but we need to get this little shot of the chairs, and we need to have somebody more talented than you and I playing the TAPS theme song that essentially you play whenever a soldier dies. So you just kind of hold on. Let me see if I can get this clip here. Let me see if I can do it for us in real time. Sorry, my instrument's not tuned right now. We'll come back to that later at a different time. Let's go to our final topic here, which is, of course, the gallery. So that means a combination of what you guys have sent to us and what, Tim, you found. And speaking of bless your heart, because I formatted this and I still don't know what to make of it, but I'm going to drop it down here right now. So can you give us the context behind whatever it is we're looking at here?
Okay, so Tom DeBlas, as you know, often posts on his Instagram. He will screen cap and put things that he says people send to him. And usually these things are very clear cut. I need help. I need guidance. I need encouragement. I need a talking to. There's a lot of that stuff. And it always somehow Tom DeBlas, he might lose round 1, but he always comes back in round 2 and all these stories. And he looks good. And often I love Tom. I love Tom DeBlas. Don't get me wrong. I text him from time to time. But I often wonder, is Tom DeBlas making these posts up? Are these actual posts? Are people really sending this? And then I saw this one. And I thought, damn, I hope he's not making this one up, because this is a very, very bizarre one to make up.
Do you want me to go ahead and read it, since I probably have a clearer version of it on my side?
Yes, it's a little bit smaller.
It's tiny on your side, so I'll go ahead and read, I guess, what is supposed to be the real version of this. But the note sent to Tom DeBlas says, "Remember me when I messaged you in the summer and told you to reach out? Then you blocked me and posted it. When I see you on site, your dick is in my mouth." Hold on. I want to really, I can't go forward. hold on, reset the clock. Fuck that. It says, then you blocked me and posted it, so you have feelings about that. Got it. When I see you on site, your dick is in my mouth. Okay, so let's see that out for here. Just a quick second.
Yeah.
That means, hey, Tim, good to see you. Pull out your fucking dick. No, I'm pulling out mine. It's going in your mouth. Like, what kind of greeting is that, first and foremost? And it says, all the training in the world can't help you. I don't go away that easy. Well, we know that much. So good news on that. Oh, I don't go away that easy, baby. On a real note, do you think the Jake Paul and Tyson fight will happen? Talk soon. T-Bone. Okay.
Someone trolled him.
Listen, guys, I don't envy being this popular and having this many crazies message you. And yes, there is nothing more auspicious than a lot of people are texting me. A lot of people are asking me. It's the Donald Trump, a lot of people are saying, like nobody's saying it. In this particular case, I do believe you. Tom, I think I do believe you received this message. And if you didn't, kudos to your comedy writing team. Tom's response, you may be the strangest human I have ever gotten a message from, and I get some strange things. Listen, dude, honestly, you take out the part about the dick in the mouth, it runs pretty normal. I think it's more so that you would demand somebody's mouth find your dick upon greeting. Because when you say on site, most people say, all right, we're fighting. Yours is, no, we're fucking. That's what we're doing. Minute I see you, this fucking shit's getting real raw and sexual. Let's make this shit happen.
I think my thing about this is that when you use on site as like a preposition,
yes.
You're like on site. All you got to do is say on site, and that means your ass is grass, dude. You're not even getting a warning. Like, I'll hit you from the back. I'll come and side smash you. Like, it's on site, dude.
I don't care still hit him from the back just based on this connotation. That's right. I just want to point that out.
Okay, this guy's saying on site, your D is in my mouth. He's not saying I'm going to violate you. He's saying you're going to violate me on site. So I'm like, either this guy doesn't have a good command of the English language. Like maybe he put it in a different language and he had like ChatGPT come off with a good thing, or he meant to say it the other way around, but he's got some weird Freudian slip. It's like kind of like slipped out what he really meant.
I mean, sure, we definitely got to
Tom was tired. Tom was tired when he created this fake post and he put it out there and he's like, oh crap. And then he had to craft the response to it.
Okay. So
I don't know.
When I see you on site, my dick, your mouth. No, hold on. Which one will work
That's
better?
how you know it was him. That's how you know.
There's just something so great about telling somebody that, like, on site. Because you know what this only does? This makes me incredibly fearful when somebody says on site the next time to me. I'm going to be like, can you be specific about what you mean? Because I do not consent to one of those.
Bro, when you call it on site, that means both parties now. It's on site. If you tell me on site, that means if I see you at Craig in Auto Parts, I'm hitting you on the freaking motor oil aisle, dude. I'm busting you in the head when you're trying to get your air filter. Like, this is on site. This is a declaration, man. You better not be getting medication at CVS, dude, because it's on like Donkey Kong. You can't say that.
You know insane. What? I thought at a certain point, I read it a certain way, and now this thing, it's art is what it is. So that's as good as I can get on that. Let me bring up some notes that I got here, and I think I'll give this. He's explosive and young. I didn't get to see his striking, but I do think he'll be a solid fighter. That was in response to, I believe, KADE. Damian Maia. Okay, I could see that for, I think, part of the Craig Jones Invitational. That could be intriguing. I think.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I think what's going to happen here, this is part of the reason why I asked earlier who's left, is I feel like if ADCC locks up who they have right now, you're going to see those slots get filled in by some MMA talent is kind of my inclination.
Yeah. 10 G's, man.
Bro, did I tell you Kelly was like, or not Kelly, but one of our friends, she goes, why don't they try and get you? And I was like, I don't think you understand. I'm not that good like that. And she goes, no. I'm saying, like, why don't you just try to show up and get the 10 G's there? And I was like, I'm pushing for this pre-post show. I'd probably get paid more doing that. Yeah, you're right. I should probably try to go for that.
We should just wear spats under our clothes just in case. They're like, we need to fill in. I got you, Craig.
Little known fact about me. Every show I've ever produced, I have gear on me because I always think in the back of my head, oh shit, I might need to save this show. And it says, curious to see how it goes versus a counter wrestler, and he has to stay up. But it says, Mikey looked like someone put HGH in his pasta. And adds, he's trying to move past the little boy image, perhaps. Dude, he's 27. I don't know that we should have been treating him like a little boy. Like, at how long are we supposed to do that?
Dude, this was his Miley Cyrus moment. You remember Miley Cyrus ditched the good girl image? This is Mikey Musumeci's Miley Cyrus moment.
It says, how many people will be paid for CJI? It looks like everybody.
All of them.
So that's good. It says that's the same organization and it's regional, so it's not like for like. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. And it says, what will make a difference is if CGI lasts more than a handful of events. Winning CJI is a cash grab at the moment and not long-term prestige. So let me see if I can bring this up to you. 1, who cares? 2, why are you arguing? 3, what are you arguing? So you're saying that money is bad and not prestigious. I argue I want the guys to get paid. And if you were to be in the comment section talking about my win, I would not care. And it wouldn't have any significance because you did win and it would still be prestigious because you were one of the first people to win $1 million in jiu-jitsu. They don't take that away from you. Prestige comes over time, sure, but the participants they have in this are no slouches, and a number of whom were prestigious enough to either qualify or be invited for ADCC. So this argument is very incredibly weak. But what I would tell you is this. Putting the onus on CJI to continue to exist is a funny way of supplementing, hey, $1 million is good. It's like the only argument you have because you don't have the show money at the most prestigious thing. So you have to find a rerouted argument, which is, yeah, we'll do it again. It's like, dude, do you know how many times it would take to win at ADCC to get that bankroll? Think about what you're saying out loud. And then you come back and you tell me which feels more prestigious, like you just won something. Money is not bad, but trying to run it like it is a bad thing to win the money. And like these people are just going to show up and do some sort of game show. Like they're going to complete a Ninja Warrior obstacle course. You're going to be like, see, that's not jiu-jitsu. No, they still are going to compete in jiu-jitsu. It's just different. We don't know what we don't know yet, but this is a good sign to come that no matter what the result is, we're going to get people who are probably contesting this like it's the election results and being like, you know what? That wasn't even real. That wasn't even a real tournament, okay? Because I've seen some of the overlap of these folks. So just saying, I would prepare for this, you guys. I would prepare to see what happens first. Then we can have discussion on it. Inherently, it is a good thing. So I'm very excited to see the Craig Jones Invitational. And it gets, ooh, I like this one. You get prestige by beating good people, not winning tournaments.
Bougie Gatami. I like that name right there. That's going to be the name of my new jiu-jitsu school, Bougie BJJ.
Well, hey, Brian, go trademark that right now so you can make money off Tim. But yes, I want to say this. You will get prestige over time, especially if people have a more compelling reason to come. I think right now people feel a nostalgic attachment to ADCC that they are weighing very heavily upon them. And it may not be a wrong choice for them, but I think long term, we don't know yet. And we'll have to see. And it's going to be a fun... Oh, he trademarked it. Sorry, Tim. It's already done.
Damn.
So those are the notes that we have. Tim, I think we've run the gauntlet here. Why don't we go ahead and have you tell people where they can find you and what's coming up next for you guys?
Yo, you can find me at Inside BJJ on all of your social media platforms. Obviously, if you want to check out the Inside BJJ podcast, you can do that. Go to InsideBJJ.com, Spotify, YouTube, all that jazz. This weekend, June 15th, Nashville, Tennessee. Eddie Bravo will be here on site at 10th Planet Nashville. You can check me out at 10P Nashville for more information for that. If you're out in Stocktown, the 209, baby, and you're feeling tough, or if you just want to get a nice roll in, check out 10th Planet Stockton. If you're in Nashville, of course, you're more than welcome to join us at 10th Planet Nashville. It's been great to be back, Raph. It's great talking to you. I don't know what's going to happen this week, but I'm excited, and I feel like I need to hire an assistant just to take notes for the whole week. So when we come back on Wednesday, we'll be freaking ready to go, baby. It's exciting, man.
Yeah, we're all having to hire new staffs now as a result of this world. But Tim, great job to you. I'll say bye to you in a second, but I just want to say thank you, everybody who has tuned in this week. We are excited to always join you here at the Bullpen. It was a great installment. We made our way through 8 topics, but we all have different shows. Go check out Inside BJJ, and you can check out the Grappling Hour. Every week we have new interviews. We just had one go up yesterday with a young man by the name of Michael Santiago, who fights out here in local Southern California region. I commentated one of his fights. Great guy. He came over to Mama. We rolled, and then we did a great interview. So good people. Really enjoy his work. Additionally, we also have a new interview with Adam Bradley that is about to go up. Ryan Aiken will be on the show later this week. But if you want to see our interviews 30 days before anybody else, head on over to patreon.com/grappling hour. You can like, comment, and subscribe right now. It would mean the world to us. And if you have nothing to comment on, say something nice about ADCC. Let's start there. That's a good thing. That's a good prompt to put in there. There's been a lot of hate toward it. We don't hate them, but like we want them to fix their shit. So say something nice. That's what they want. That's all they care. This is an ego thing. Most of the time they're like, you didn't say anything nice. It's like, well, did you give us something to say something nice about? Anyway, do that. Last couple things. Like, comment, subscribe, and also follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Ladies and gents, that's going to do it for us here at the Bullpen. Thank you so much for watching. It has been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.